It used to be a military base. Well, it used to be a ranching thing, then it was turned into an army thing, then it became a bird thing and a museum or whatever. Henry Fonda stationed here, I think, for a bit, unless he was Navy.
Who's Henry Fonda?
Around Christmas time, this little breakfast place used to sell these amazing polar bear sugar cookies. Man, those were good. And then one year they changed the formula or whatever and ruined it. Alex? Hey, still with us? You haven't said anything for like 10 minutes. Mission control to Alex. This is Big Papa. Do you read me? Yeah, Jonas, what you're seeing right now is what I like to call a trip. This blank stare thing Alex will do sometimes. You might think something's wrong, but there isn't. She's just rebooting.
Okay, noted.
So you all moved in?
Not really. I just got in this morning.
And how did her mom meet your dad exactly?
They met on vacation in Orlando. He got lost in a... actually, I'm not even gonna tell this story. It's really not worth it.
Okay. And you guys just met tonight?
Yeah, I'd been out of school, and the timing had just never worked out, so...
And what does that make you to her then? A second cousin? I don't know how people math works.
Step brother, technically.
Oh, yeah. I forgot that was even a thing. Well, at least you seem cool, right? Cool guy, cool hat. You get a cool new sibling living right in your house. Sharing your toothbrush. Wearing your clothes. Eating your food. Smelling up your bathroom.
I, have my own toothbrush.
Well, throw it out. It's useless now.
So, how do you two know each other?
Oh, from way back when, like Paleozoic. Grade school era. Young enough that I've seen her in a bathtub and it wasn't sexual at all. I mean, we both looked like little skinned potato blobs. And to date, that's still what I think she looks like under her clothes.
Passengers will be arriving soon.
Check under your seat to make sure you don't leave behind any grandchildren.
And if you picked up a complimentary disposable radio, remember to...
Oh, we should get a quick picture. All of us. This will be like the before shot. They're on their way.
And hear more about the fascinating events of this
And it's Jonas, not Jonah.
Yeah, Jonas. Like Jonas Salk?
Right, patient zero, AIDS guy.
It's, biblical, right? Or is that the lion guy?
I think every name's biblical, so probably.
Here's good. Come on, Alex, join the fun.
Good afternoon to you all. I welcome you to my channel and our premiere of Oxenfree, the game of the week on Xbox Game Club. It is a new forum which has been recently created for all the gamers around the world to join hands and participate in our online gaming activities. So I invite everybody to join us. I want everybody to be a member of our community. Even if you're not on Xbox, you can just join our discussions and maybe watch our streams. I will have a regular slot every single week on the game of the week. How frequently it will feature during the week will depend on the actual game. There are games like this one that are quirky indie types with lots of interesting bits and pieces offered through a wonderful, very immersive story and terrific real life-like characters. Or we'll have some shooters and looters, we'll have some RPGs, multiplayers. Next week there will be Sea of Thieves, a week later Titanfall. So it's quite a selection, and I think the Xbox Game Club is likely to be reflecting all that we have on Game Pass, which means quite a variety. We don't want to be catering just for AAA blockbusters. We want the small indie developers to be given their exposure, to be supported, and indeed for us to discover some of the wonderful, wonderful little games out there that we've never heard of. Oxenfree is a game I've sort of noted a little while back, 3 or 4 years ago when it was released, and certainly did have very good reviews. Never had the chance to play before, and this is the perfect opportunity, both for myself and also for our friends worldwide to actually get introduced to it, to try it, to get in, to jump with both feet in and experience the wonderful, mysterious, supernatural world of this game. Because we've seen supernaturals in other games, like for instance Made of Scare was offered to us on Xbox Gold free of charge last month, and I played it, I loved it. I thought it was a really very, very good atmospheric game. In fact, I even preferred it to Man of Medan that recently I visited, and many people wouldn't agree with me, but I just like these puzzlers, I like the mystery games that bring me back to the world of Seven Guest, of the 1990s PC mystery puzzlers, and I just like the idea, and it has a very good story. It's very atmospheric and definitely a kind of game I want to support, so I may have it here sometime for a stream or two as well. Just coming back to the earlier broadcast, I apologize for the technical issues, and I thought that the technical issues were related to Twitch and some of the things that I witnessed yesterday, but actually they are Destiny related, because the game was taken down for maintenance, and it was quite out of the blue, because they have not advertised it. We've not seen any information on it, so I'm sure that lots of streamers will be very, very concerned that there's been no prior warning. But on the other hand, we've got to understand that a new game like Beyond Light may well be experiencing serious problems, and if there is a need to be intervening, they will do this immediately, because they don't want to lose the friends, gamers, followers, community members, if for instance they would have spotted that the problems were persisting and the company was not paying attention to the issues reported. So that's one of the ways through which they can be resolved. I was surprised to see that there wasn't even a single posting on either Bungie or Destiny Twitter, because obviously they usually advertise, and also the dates that were posted on the community forum of Bungie's. They have you click on community and click on news and you get all the information in there, Bungie.net. The dates were wrong, and obviously whoever was typing didn't pay attention or was too tired, and it seemed like you had 2 or 3 days with the same date. Like Thursday and Friday had exactly the same date, which was the 12th, and it's a bit confusing to find out really when the patches and maintenance are going to be applied. So I apologize for this. We're literally halfway through the new quest, and I was doing it at a leisurely pace, wanting to enjoy the environment and engage with events and patrols and everything else that is on offer as I strolled. But I was cut short because picture went missing and we couldn't really get back in. Tried everything possible, tried my ping, tried this and the other, and also I experimented with the outages trackers on the net, which actually told me that there was no outage and that everything was hunky-dory as far as Twitch was concerned. So I thought it could be Destiny related, and then it turned out to be exactly it, as 10-15 minutes later we got messages from Bungie live on screen saying that we can't really be doing anything because we've been booted out as the maintenance is taking place, and the game will come back later today. So I'm not sure how long the maintenance is to take place, but we're not going to be wasting our time waiting and twiddling our thumbs, but we'll just engage with what was actually planned for tomorrow. I thought Oxenfree was a game ideal for a weekend, basically a community-based, family-like game for people to step in, join us, and then maybe discuss a bit all the activities and maybe make new friends. The other thing we'll do on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday is multiplayers. We'll actually do a lot of Call of Duty Warzone, we'll do some Apex and PUBG, the games that are bringing in lots of new community members and friends from worldwide. And what's interesting is, compared to Twitch, we have a double whammy in there. On one hand, what we do is we get people who are watching my Twitch channel and they join us. On the other hand, we have lots of people doing the random matchmaking. And I have to say that random matchmaking has been very, very rewarding in terms of our community, because for Apex, PUBG and Warzone, I did get quite a few people popping in, and purely randomly selected, but we struck a good chord. They wanted to play more games together, and they stayed friends on Infinity Board and all the other developers lists with me, which really helped. So I think that's the strategy that I will be providing, toying with the idea of having perhaps new members coming in from various ends, because this channel was primarily dedicated to Destiny for most of its existence. It's already walking into its 3rd year. And it's incredible how time flies, really. It's almost like yesterday when I started streaming on PlayStation. I'll be already on Xbox, and we'll be streaming on the new consoles in no time. So, really a lot to look forward to. And the idea is simply to provide a variety and maybe, like different types of activities for variety gamers. We will have Destiny every day for a little while, and we'll have a chunk of it sometimes for a little while, and at other times maybe for most of the duration of my stream, and the broadcast will contain also the other games. I think multiplayers are likely to be featuring more on Fridays, Saturdays and Sundays as well as some family games, and these may be part of our Xbox Game Club activities. And then during the week we'll have Destiny in full force. So that's the idea behind the next season of my broadcast. You know that I've taken a few breaks this year, and that was to do with the work dedicated to COVID pandemic, COVID protection force, and all we do here in the UK to minimize the effects of this absolutely ghastly virus. You know that I'm a specialist or a professional from psychological services, and indeed there's been a lot to do there. But I dedicate my time to gaming as much as possible, to my channel, as you know, and we are to carry on as usual, really. I just got a bit tired with some of my streams and the overall activity, as well as, I guess, a bit worried about everything that's happening to our local community. In the area where I live, the vast majority of shops had failed due to the pandemic. Lots of them closed down for good, and there's a very major economic slump emerging on horizon. And I can only say thanks goodness for video gaming and Twitch and all the other online activities, because we really have been able to engage with our friends worldwide, have a wonderful, enjoyable time during this dreadful period of history. And I really personally didn't feel affected in the same fashion in my local area, I should say, in the place where I live, in the same way like many of my peers. The reason for that is I can do everything from one place, and I have the degree of online interactivity which is absolutely digitized, and it's on all fronts in everything I do. So that's wonderful, and it's been actually a very productive, busy period as far as the gaming, streaming, film viewing, film reviewing, and all other activities have been concerned. So I can only thank dear Lord and all the inventors who made it possible, and look forward to many more inventions in this field, connecting us and making sure that we make friends and connect with other people worldwide. Made so many different friends, from the gaming community in the last few years, and the community is growing. Although I have to say that it comes in waves. If you have a new game or a particularly interesting product, then people come in very large numbers. But otherwise, the way things are today, very quickly people lose interest, or they depart to other activities, and then hear from them from time to time rather than every single day. But coming back to the Xbox Game Club, this is an extension of Xbox Ambassadors activities. We've had Xbox Ambassadors for a number of years, and this is a smaller circle of dedicated Xbox/Microsoft gamers and veterans. And these are the people who are, like myself, helping other gamers to understand the way the whole thing works. We help with the tech stuff, we provide advice to new gamers. We are fully incorporated in the support section of Microsoft services specifically for Xbox, and we are as engaged as possible with any form of online communication related to gaming and the new releases. So I've had a very busy period, certainly during this year, on that front, and the Xbox Game Club basically is bringing in the ambassadors to connect with gaming communities and create perhaps new subsections, particularly through Xbox Game Pass, which is the biggest thing that Microsoft is developing, and then building their own memberships, their own communities of both viewers, players and streamers, and people who will be very prepared to help others. I think that's something very fundamentally important about Xbox communities. It is all about being able to help others. Remember that if you watched the presentation on Tuesday, you would have seen that quite a large chunk of investment went into their support of various charities. So Microsoft is investing in charities helping children with illnesses, people suffering from severe diseases, those of us or amongst us who are disadvantaged in any way, inclusive of people facing homelessness or any other peril, And it is absolutely wonderful to see that so many professionals, people who are, in education or medicine, are also joining forces, to support both the gamers, the charities, and those in the need. So it's fantastic. It's a new way of doing it. And Microsoft last year launched that special controller, which helps people with cerebral palsy and various other physical disabilities to game, to toy, to become a member of our community, just like everyone else. And that is really, truly wonderful. I applaud Microsoft for doing this and absolutely support everyone who had participated so far. Also, I want to be one of those who's waving the flag and making sure we get many more new members coming in. I've done a charitable run, the first one for British Red Cross, which was to support the COVID Protection Force, COVID pandemic in our country, the United Kingdom. And it's been successful. I'm not sure whether any funds were raised, but we had some people popping in, and we are going to be doing a lot of that in the future. I will be more and more affiliated with those charities with great streams and great participation of our community members, and we'll try to raise revenue as much as possible. Because guess what? The period ahead will require it. We are going to be facing a huge economic peril, and people will be stranded. There will be many problems with the finance overall, and we'll have to be able to support each other. The other thing for me is I didn't really want to raise the bar as yet, because I have that terrible broadband internet, and I'm not in possession of easy access to fiber. And in order to have really the best possible streams, and in order to enable the kind of silky smooth type of gameplay that I really like on Twitch, I will have to wait until that becomes available. I'm not sure how long I will have to wait for this, but I can't be raising the bar with the kind of technical quality that I presently have, which is very, very sad, isn't it? As I watched my streams in Microsoft Store in London, and I was appalled by how poor the picture really was. We had fantastic community content, plenty of discussions, and people bonding and coming up with various ideas and making new friendships, and obviously playing various games online, Destiny included. But on the technical front, it seemed extremely poor compared to some of the gamers from Latvia, Lithuania, from Baltic republics, from Sweden, Denmark, and Norway. But you can really see very razor-sharp images, crispy type of resolution, and therefore I had to be doing it just step by step. But the idea from the beginning was building your own community. Building communities is very tricky, it's very hard, it's arduous, it takes time, effort, persistence, and a lot of hard work. It doesn't build itself, and if you read articles online telling you can build a community of 100,000 overnight, well, you're actually reading a wrong article. It's just completely misleading. It's an article advertising some product that will be allegedly giving you more followers, but we all know that doing it organically is very, very time consuming, and it's the only way to do it, because if you have 10, 20, 30 members who are coming every single day to your channel, they'll bring their friends and you'll be exponentially rising and growing. So that's the idea behind it. Xbox Game Club is exactly that. I've been a member of Xbox communities for many years, and I wasn't that keen on some of the things initially, I have to admit, although the ethical gaming was always at the forefront of everything Xbox provided. But the first thing that I found difficult, and it still really, sits a bit uneasy with me, is that the Microsoft services for Xbox are not provided in every country on Earth. And that is a problem, because the next step, which is through xCloud, will enable everybody to access the games from anywhere. So I'm hoping that the services will be accessible to all countries. I've talked to people in Eastern Europe and found generally that Xbox was not popular. They all resorted to PCs primarily, and then very many also to PlayStation. They said, well, PlayStation is nice and easy, we can get all the services, which is, quite strictly speaking, not true. They couldn't access PlayStation Now, the streaming service, in all countries, because the service was offered just to the very few. But people liked playing the proprietary exclusives of PS, and find generally the console to be easier to maintain without any extras to be either bought or brought in, which is what I experienced with Xbox. And I think mainly from the point of view that the Xbox Live services were not providing everything that you would have probably in the US and UK if you were living in Poland or Czech Republic, and that's really not very good. That is something that's off-putting, and irrespective of the number of great presentations you get on YouTube channels, you will still have that issue, which is, well, I can't really access this. Why should I pay for the console if I can't access everything that it should offer? But purely in terms of how the community is and how it operates, I've always been in awe of the members' dedication, and I've been one of those Xbox ambassadors over the years who was helping others to progress, to learn about the console, the gaming, and everything else. And there's been no better time than the times of today. And today we have an ever-growing, expanding community of gamers on all platforms. To start with, Xbox had become a bit more understanding and amicable towards the users on PCs and PlayStation, and we have seen mutually, two corporations exchanging congratulations about the release of the new console. And it's a new way of looking at the whole world and the industry, and we are likely to see a lot more cooperation in the future because it will be all about instant access and cross-platform. So Xbox Game Club is here to stay. It is here to join forces with gamers worldwide and people who are very, very dedicated to ethical gaming. And I think what's essential is that it will mirror the tendency to promote a variety of different types of games, and it will help me to get some exposure and to get some extra views on the channel, as the games like Oxenfree otherwise would not be really well known and watched by anyone. And if you are getting a major promotion or major boost through the hashtag Xbox Game Club, then hopefully we'll see people trickling along and indeed supporting the developer. I'm very excited about this game. It's the first one in a line of many coming out of Xbox Game Club. I need to stress that the game is indeed offered as the first, and it basically is having its own premiere both through the club as well as through some of the streamers. And it's an ideal type of adventure. It's a mystery stroke supernatural type of game where the characters who are lovable and funny and exciting, and you'll be exploring the world that they are giving you. So let's just very quickly have a look at what the game is about. The presentations that are linked to Xbox Game Club will be quite expansive. I'll talk a lot about the game and the developers at the beginning, and then we'll do a bit of gaming, and then we'll carry on with what we like doing the best, which is our community content. So first of all, I want to tell you that this is a supernatural mystery graphic adventure game. It's developed and published by Night School Studio. It was released for Microsoft Windows OS, Xbox One in January of 2016, so it's about 4 years ago. I remember when it came out because I've seen some trailers for it and some announcements roughly around the time, probably even prior to January of 2016. PlayStation 4 and Linux versions were also released later in 2016, followed by iOS, Android, and Nintendo Switch versions in 2017. So it's a game present on literally every platform. In Oxenfree, we assume the role of a teenage girl, Alex, and we've just seen during the prologue in here a bit about her on a weekend trip to a local island. So after seemingly supernatural events take place, Alex and her friends must be unraveling the secrets of the island. So it's really an ideal mystery type of adventure. The game is Night School Studios' first, so it's the debut of the studio. Influenced by classic teen films of coming-of-age shows, you will remember a few of those, films like Almost Famous or River's Edge, to name a few. The developers wanted to create a story-driven game without any cutscenes, so it's all going to be based on dialogue and new activity. You will have pop-ups where you're deciding what type of dialogue they need to be leading and having, I should say, and then you will get a particular type of outcome. So you can be freely roaming the environment at all times. Its visual presentation marries this dark organic and analog elements with bright geometric digital ones. We also had musician Scientific, who composed the game soundtrack, which features digital music production alongside the use of vintage analog tape recorders and receivers. So it's quite an experimental use of music, which I quite like. And when I clicked on the Game Pass button once the Oxenfree loaded. I had really kind of experimental jazzy type of music, and that's really good. I watched a film a couple of days ago with Terence Middleton, and I really thought it was perfect the way they combined Twin Peaks-ish like atmosphere with very weird experimental jazz music. It just really seemed absolutely top notch, and we have the same sort of thing in here. So Oxenfree's release were accompanied by development documentaries, an alternate reality game, and a collector's edition. So there's quite a few things coming together with it. The game received generally positive reviews on release. Critics praised the presentation and characters, although some reviewers were left wanting more. The game was also nominated for multiple awards, inclusive of Best Narrative at the Game Awards 2016, Jeff Keighley's Game Awards that is, and Outstanding Achievement in Story at the 20th Annual DICE Awards. So we have lots of interesting information here. So we heard a bit more about the actual studio, the studio which is called Night Skull. Cousins Sean Krankel and Adam Hines established it in 2014, and they really long wanted to collaborate on a video game together. Hines worked on Telltale games, story-focused games like Wolf Among Us, which is also quite good, while Krankel previously worked with other future Night School members at Disney. So it's a combination of Disney staff with those who worked on Telltale games. Hines and Krankel were interested in creating a game that told its story in a unique way. So Krankel and Hines looked at other story-focused games and felt that either were linear stories driven by set pieces or branching player choice influenced stories told through cutscenes. So we thought, well, why not let you move freely while communicating, interacting, and exploring a branching narrative, which in fact is quite rare when you think of it. Krankel then previously Krankel recalled they wanted to make communication a key mechanic of the game, but allow more freedom than previous story-focused games. So, at its core, we wanted to never have a cutscene in the game where you could walk and move freely and communicate with your friends, and even communicate with other beings and other kind of storage things, considering the supernatural. Rather than developing the gameplay and attaching a story to it, Night School focused on developing gameplay that would support the story they wanted to tell. So because Night School was a small team, only a few people, Hines and Krankel had to outline a scope of the game that would be manageable for everyone to do. This meant making sure branching dialogue trees of possible conversation options never became too sprawling. In fact, you've seen that earlier as they talked, and they talk actually quite fast. You were to be choosing some of the dialogue coming from, is it called Clara? Or is it Claire? Let me just see. I beg your pardon, Alex. I don't know why I thought of Clara. So in developing the story, Krankel and Hines looked at the influences and other medias that inspire them. So they wanted the story to have scary and supernatural elements without verging on horror. So Krankel said, we wanted to do something a little bit more Spielbergian and sort of give it a sense of wonder and have it a while just by actually interacting with these supernatural creatures where it's almost a little bit of fun. Hopefully it gives you butterflies in your stomach before it gets pretty crazy. The developers were influenced by other coming-of-age stories such as Stand By Me, I mentioned already, when developing the characters and story. And Krankel cited the character of Lindsay Weir from the television series Freaks and Geeks as the biggest outside influence on the character of Alex. Not watched it, so I cannot comment, but evidently there is a link in there as well. So they did set up a casting call for voice actors on the magazine Backstage. The team produced placeholder subtitles in the game prior to casting actors and recording lines. Lead engineer Brian Cannon recalled that without the voices he was unsure whether the game would be fun to play or take off at all. After the voices were added, he could see the characters as believable people having conversations, and Hines directed recording sessions allowing them to change dialogue immediately if he felt material did not work when voiced by the actors. So all of the actors voiced the lines separately and out of order. Their conversations in-game being stitched together in post-production. It's quite a complex process, I have to say, for a very, very small studio. So Oxenfree was developed primarily using the Unity game engine, although Photoshop and Autodesk Maya. So the game's artwork was made by Heather Gross, who drew inspiration from her own upbringing. Alex's outfit is made of clothing Gross wore as a child. The team wanted to show multiple characters, dialogue bubbles, places to explore in the environment on the screen simultaneously. So this directly influenced the game's two-dimensional look and distance from the player characters on the screen. Working with these requirements, Gross created parallaxing, painterly backgrounds. The dark organic elements of the setting were designed in contrast to these supernatural elements, which are bright and geometric. The animation, art and effects required to the game's major plot developments ended up taking more time than Heinz and Krankel ever expected, but they found that it helped organize the story in this wonderful little process. So that's really the news about the game, and I think the game was received very positively overall, seen as a very quirky little indie, thoroughly enjoyable adventure, accessible on almost all platforms, and after reading all of this, the game indeed becomes even more interesting and exciting. I've heard about it, never played it, and I think now is the time to just simply start right from the beginning. So let's see whether we can do that, and then we'll carry on. It looks like we can do it, so I think I'll have a biscuit and a cup of tea before we kick off. I've given you a bit of prologue initially, and then that was followed up by my introduction. Hope you really liked all you heard. Hope you are going to be enjoying Oxenfree as a quirky, mysterious, supernatural type of video game, accessible on platforms, and also most importantly, I hope it will lead you to the membership of the Xbox Game Community Club. We call it Xbox Game Club, but actually it's Xbox Game Community Club, and it's a bit of a mouthful really. And also perhaps it will lead you to become one of us, the Xbox ambassadors. You may want to step in and do some of the tasks and chores, get some XPs, and acquire many rewards. But most importantly, you may want to be one of those ethical gamers who's helping others in order to learn and in order to make this world to be a better place. So I'll be cracking on with Oxenfree gameplay very shortly. Stay with us. Hope you'll enjoy it as much as anticipated after reading all of that introduction. Sounds like a very cool little game with interesting stories, mysterious developments, and lovable characters. There we are. Let's crack on.
It used to be a military base. Well, it used to be a ranching thing, then it was turned into an army thing, then it became a bird thing and a museum or whatever. Henry Fonda stationed here, I think, for a bit, unless he was Navy.
Who's Henry Fonda?
Around Christmas time, this little breakfast place used to sell these amazing polar bear sugar cookies. Man, those were good. And then one year they changed the formula or whatever and ruined it. Alex? Hey, still with us? You haven't said anything for like...
Yeah, my mind drifted for a second.
So you all moved in?
Not really. I just got in this morning.
And how did her mom meet your dad exactly?
They met on vacation in Orlando. He got lost in a... actually, I'm not even gonna tell this story. It's really not worth it.
No, wait, what happened? I feel like I haven't heard this.
He got lost in some gardens and he thought she worked there and blah blah blah, they hit it off.
Aw, that's downright adorable. And you guys just met tonight?
Yeah, I'd been out of school and the timing had just never worked out, so...
And what does that make you to her then? A second cousin?
He'll be like a roommate, really.
No, but isn't there like a term for it?
Step-brother, technically.
Oh, yeah. I forgot that was even a thing. Well, at least you seem cool, right? Cool guy, cool hat. You get a cool new sibling living right in your house, sharing your toothbrush.
Yeah, no, it's a nice perk, I guess. Unless you're like a pyro or something.
Just a klepto, so you're in luck. So, how do you two know each other?
Oh, from way back when, like Paleozoic, grade school era. Young enough that I've seen her in a bathtub and it wasn't sexual at all. I mean, we both looked like little skinned potato blobs.
Ugh, it's so creepy now to think about.
Why? We were babies. It's funny, that's all.
Passengers will be arriving soon.
Check under your seat to make sure you don't leave behind any grandchildren.
So how do you
It's a
know
recording.
it?
They always play it.
Remember to tune to 102.1
Oh, we should get a quick picture. All of us.
We encourage you to listen to
This will be like the before show.
Yeah, let's do it.
and hear more about the
And it's Jonas,
events of this
not
historical
Jonah,
landmark.
Yeah, Jonas. Like Jonas Salk?
right? Patient zero, AIDS guy.
Jonas. It means oppressor, right?
Yeah, but I mean, my sign's cancer, and it's not like my hair's falling out or anything. Here's good. Come on, Alex, join the fun. There, great. I'll magic erase all the warts out and stuff, so don't worry. Hey, Alex, you brought the radio, right? The little portable one?
Yeah, of course.
Perfect. Can you pull it out a second? There's the little guy. Our high school has a radio station, and Carly, she's a friend of ours. She's filling in because Reggie got mono from some track runner or something. It doesn't matter. What matters is that she's gonna say something like, basically, right now, about our thing. So tune it to 88.3 so I can tell her we heard it.
We spent 5.
It's, to the...
Which I played because that song's been stuck in my head since I woke up this morning. But, actually, it's a little after 10 o'clock, which means my dear friend Ren and his buddies are probably just touching down on Edwards Island for the yearly bash on the beach, or whatever we call it now. But anyways, I promised him that I'd play a song from his band, so hope you're listening, Ren. Here are the Red-Headed Bedwetters with Baby Carrots.
That's awesome. I hope Christina, with her talent show judge face, was listening. We must be getting close. There's no radio reception on the island. I'm glad I got to hear it before it went totally kaput.
If we can't use it, why'd you bring it? Not just for the boat.
No. You'll see. I don't expect too much, but nah, it'll be fun. I won't undercook it. You'll see.
There we are, my friends. This was the picture that was taken, and this was the beginning of the game. It was the prologue. So let's see what the game is going to bring us. Sounds and looks very interesting, and I have to say the dialogue and the way it's acted is absolutely terrific. Brings me back to these films they mentioned: Stand By Me, River's Edge, Almost Famous, just to name a few. And it does feel like a really,
Smell
really
that
good
clean air,
opening.
boys and girls. Boy and girl. This ain't city living.
Yeah, anybody need a smoke? I have a full pack.
No thanks. I mean, I literally just said the clean air thing, so...
Alex, you can bum one off me if you're empty.
Oh, no thanks. I don't smoke. Last time I had one, it didn't go well.
Yeah, no, I didn't know what coughing with your whole body meant until I saw you dry heaving.
Okay, just checking.
Alright, my other friend should be up and around the bend.
Actually, I don't mean to be the guy to break us up already, but Ren, can you do me a favor? Can I have like 2 real quick minutes with Alex for a second? And you can run up and meet your friends?
Wait, is something wrong? What is it?
Nothing's wrong. It'll just take 2 minutes, super fast.
Alright, bud. Look, I don't want to go up by myself. I mean, can't we just stick together? You're gonna have all night to say, like, whatever.
But since you want to meet up with your friends anyway...
We're all gonna...
Come on, Jonas, let's just all go up. I don't want to send Ren away like...
I apologize, but it seems to be another problem on Twitch. For some reason, it's not streaming the game properly, and it's giving us that dreadful idle sign for some reason. Don't know what's going on, so I think I probably have to restart the whole thing. And I apologize for that. I want to get rid of that dreadful idle sign, and I want the game to be streamed, so that's probably not sure what's causing it. Really have no idea. So stay with us, I'll be back very shortly and we'll resume our stream immediately.